Eric Bakker, the truck driver from New Zealand. How are you all going out there? I'm a naturopath. Now, here's an interesting one. Can a gluten-free diet help with... In fact, I was a truck driver. I'll tell you that story later. Can a gluten-free diet help with leaky gut? Yes and no. I always love giving these ambiguous answers to people. I sound like a politician when I do that. Right. When you've got leaky gut, which we all have, by the way, to some degree, not many people haven't got leaky gut. You know, it varies. It's like snow. The depth can vary from, you know, from 1 millimeter up to like 20 feet, okay? So it's difficult sometimes to know how bad the leaky gut is. It's like snow. You can step on it, but you don't know how far you're going to fall, all right? So, if you've got leaky gut, the first thing I recommend that you do is not always just immediately rip gluten out the diet. It's to look carefully at the diet and make sure that you've got all the whistles and bells done properly. So meaning that you're eating the right kind of food. You've taken all of the bad food out of the diet, the naughty food, the food that you like, the food containing sugar, alcohol, all these sort of things. So remember, the deeper the snow or the worse the condition, the more caution you need. All right? So if your health is very poorly and you've got a very poor gut function, it goes without saying that gluten's got to go. Okay? But I can tell you this, and I know I'm going to get comments on this, I can tell you how many countless patients I've seen that kept gluten in their diet all the way through treatment, but completely healed up. They didn't have any problems. And how did they achieve that? Because they cut gluten back. Okay, they weren't eating 12 slices of bread a day. They may be having 1 slice of bread in the morning, and usually a quality bread, not some 99-cent white loaf from the gas station, okay, but a quality wholemeal loaf made by a professional organic baker who knows what he or she is doing, using the right flour and the right methods, okay? So when we talk about gluten and breads, the qualities vary, extremely vary, just like they do with clothing, just like they do with automobiles, like anything you buy in your life. Just like going to Specsavers when you should be going to a real optometrist instead of one of these, 20-cent jobs. You know, I just can't tell you how I hate these places, that don't do a good job on the eyes. So, leaky gut, it all depends on the state of the leaky gut, the severity of the condition, the type of health you've got, and also your diet in general. So if you were to eat a lot of bad foods, or not so good foods, but were to blame gluten, it's not really the right thing to do. All right? So, if you are eating gluten or have got a dodgy tummy, cut your bread consumption right back and make sure that you're eating the right type of foods. Check out my playlist on leaky gut. I've done lots of videos on leaky gut. I really want you to have a look at that, on how to assess it, what's it about, the foods to eat. There's no point going over the same information with every single video. So check the playlist out, for goodness sakes. So, as I said, I'll answer it one more time. It depends on the severity of the condition. The worse the condition, the more you've got to tighten things up. Okay? If you've only got a minor issue then with the gut, you may not need to do much with removing gluten. But if you buy into the media, you remember the media is so focused now on seeing gluten as radioactive, a substance that will kill you upon touching it, that you'll probably want to avoid it. If you have that kind of mindset, then you probably will get sick from eating it. All right? Imagine if we had no internet now and you had no idea that gluten was bad. How do you think it would affect you? Probably not at all. All right? Classic example. Ambulance officer friend of mine mentioned to me that he saw a person who'd been in a bad accident. Now, I'm not going to go into details much, but this was a lady who lost a limb in an automobile accident, and he kept maintaining eye contact with her, and she was fine. But as soon as her head turned around and she saw what happened to her arm, she immediately fainted. She was gone in a second, because her awareness became extremely alert and acute. To me, it's not dissimilar with the gluten. If the awareness of, if I hype you up as much as I can about any kind of food and convince you it's toxic, you won't touch it anymore. So please don't buy into the hype, okay? If you've been eating bread for a while and it's not affecting you really bad, cut back and see. Even stop it for a little while. And if you say, see Eric, you're wrong. I improved when I took bread out of my diet. Then my next question is, well, what did you have with the bread? How much did you eat? And what was the quality of it? And generally I hear back, all it was the 99-cent loaf from the gas station. I put jam on top of it and peanut butter, and I had 4 slices a day. Well, I'm going to slap you around the face with a wet fish then if you say that, because that's not really what I'm aiming at, okay? Yeah, you get the point. Thanks for tuning in.